in there, King Kong. Look out for the cover. Hey.
I told you that'd happen.
Hey, what's the guy's name, Junior?
Why don't you ask him?
Real wise guy, huh? I've got half a mind to report this accident.
Yeah, go ahead. See what gets you. Grimshaw's got a lot of influence around here, mister. A lot of influence. Now, if you'll pardon me, I'll deliver the body.
So long, Junior.
Johnny? Johnny?
I'm coming, honey.
Everything all right, Johnny?
Well, I thought so until a few seconds ago. Listen, baby, can you sit here in the car for another 5 minutes?
Well, we're due at the wedding in half an hour.
I won't be long.
Where are you going?
For a stroll through the cemetery.
Oh, hey, Johnny, stop making jokes.
Honey, when we lifted that coffin back on a meat wagon, I got a good look inside of it.
Oh.
Exactly how I felt. I figured we'd knocked the stuffing out of the corpse. Only I didn't expect the stuffing to be sand.
What?
Yes. It wasn't a body. It was a dummy stuffed with sand, a dummy with a wax face.
Johnny.
Which brings up an interesting question. Who's supposed to be in that box? And, just where's the dead man spending his time? Sometimes in my business, when things drop off, you have to go out and dig up new clients. Well, my next case was a gentleman named Harlan Ward, Sr., the wealthy automobile manufacturer. I'd gotten his name off his son's tombstone.
Are you trying to tell me, Dorothy, that my son Harlan was never buried at Gowanda Cemetery?
Exactly, Mr. Ward.
Why?
Maybe if you'll tell me the circumstances surrounding your son's death, I can help answer that.
My son was a rather impetuous young man, tall, good-looking. After his graduation from Princeton, he began drinking quite heavily. After he got into a couple of scrapes, we sent him to Dr. Grimshaw's sanatorium in the hope that he could be cured. While my wife and I were in Europe, we received word that he had died. He was buried at Gowanda in our absence. Last week, my wife and I decided to have his body removed to the family vault here at Short Hills.
How did your son die, Mr. Ward?
Suicide. He slashed his wrists at the sanatorium.
You never saw the body?
No. We couldn't get back from Europe in time.
I see.
See here. How do I know this whole thing isn't a plan to fleece me? How do I know that you didn't remove the body yourself?
You don't. But you're a rich man, Mr. Ward, and you're perfectly willing to take a chance that I'm on the level and that your son may still be alive.
You sound very sure of yourself, Mr. Doherty.
My fee is $2,000 retainer plus expenses.
What sort of expenses?
However much it costs to take the cure at Dr. Grimshaw's sanatorium. What do you say, Mr. Ward?
All right, Dorothy. My secretary will send you a check in the morning.
Good. Oh, one other thing.
What's that?
I want a photograph of your son, a good one.
I think that can be arranged. Look here, Dorothy. If I cooperate, how do I know that you won't run off?
I won't guarantee it. On the other hand, I might have to get myself killed on this job. We both take a risk, Mr. Ward. Dr. Grimshaw's sanatorium was just outside Gowanda, and it was strictly for the 400 at $60 a day. Most of the cases were nervous breakdowns and alcoholics. I committed myself as a dipso, and just to make it convincing, I stopped at 5 or 6 bars on the way over. I was interviewed by Grimshaw himself, a small man with a fringe of white hair. He seemed on the level. And yet, there was something just the slightest bit phony about the whole deal.
You, understand, Mr. Doherty.
That's not my real name, of course. Social reasons.
We understand. Our paid clientele is very select. Our rates are rather high.
You'll be paid in cash and in advance, Dr. Grimshaw.
You will find us most sympathetic.
How long does a cure usually take, Doctor?
Well, that, of course, depends on the degree of alcoholism. This is my assistant, Dr. Boynow.
How do you do?
How do you do?
We are accepting Mr. Doherty as patient. Better place him in the ward with Mr. Kay and Mr. Crakey.